Welcome to this Quantum Security and Defense presentation, Quantum Capability Building, featuring the quantum industry's top recruiters, and thank you for being a valued member of our community.
Let me welcome everyone. Welcome to our guest and welcome to our publicum. And then I would like to introduce our guests today in the order that in a random order. So
Very
and
quantum.
then yes, a bit quantum. And then we're gonna have a different format than normally. We will have a panel discussion. And then, as I said, if anyone has some questions to our guests, I would like that you post them in the chat. And then if there's gonna be time, we will try to see if there was not covered it, okay, in the whole discussion. I think we're gonna cover a lot of stuff, but if there is not, and there's gonna be question relevant, we will try to take it in the end. That way, there will be some chance for interaction. So without further delay, let's me get started. So today we are joined by John Barnes, and he is a founder, CEO, and recruiter, headhunter, and a community builder. He created his second recruitment business, Entangled Positions, with a clear vision to spearhead ethical quantum workforce and talent initiatives. Having worked in technology recruitment since 2004, John pioneered agency-based quantum recruitment in 2014. He has seen vast changes within the industry, becoming an essential trusted partner for many organizations across quantum technologies and individuals ranging from school children to all levels of workforce up to and including a C-suite and investors. So John's passion is integrating different stakeholders in and out of quantum to create opportunities for responsible innovation. Welcome, John.
Hi, everyone.
So the second guest is Charlie George, and he's a distinguished recruitment expert, and he has 18 years career enriched with experience in some of the world's most renowned recruitment firms. As a professional, Charlie commenced his journey by placing IT specialists in the financial services sectors and has since broadened his expertise across a diverse range of markets. His exceptional ability to develop thriving businesses is showcased through his work in technology, risk and cybersecurity, accounting, and finance and construction. As a director and a founder of Quantivate, Charlie is dedicated to establishing the company as the leading quantum technology talent consultancy. By collaborating closely with organizations and gaining a deep understanding of their mission, Quantivate delivers bespoke solutions uniquely tailored to meet each company's specific needs at the right moment. Welcome, Charlie. Nice.
Thank you for having me. Nice to meet everyone.
And our third guest is Amir Razul, is the founder of QAI Talent. Do you say it separately, QAI?
No, QAI Talent, yeah.
Perfect. So let me start again. Amir Razul is the founder of QAI Talent, a recruitment firm specializing in connecting exceptional tech talent with transformative opportunities in quantum computing, AI, and data science. He has over 25 years of experience in technology recruitment. Amir has cultivated a reputation for his strategic approach to talent acquisition, bridging the gap between forward-thinking organizations and the industry's most sought-after professionals. At QAI Talent, Amir leverages his extensive network and deep industry insights to identify, attract, and place top-tier candidates in roles that are shaping the future of technology. Beyond his work at QAI Talent, Amir is the host of the Beyond the Bid Quantum Pathways podcast, a platform dedicated to educating and inspiring the next generation of quantum professionals. Through interviews with industry leaders, career insights, and expert guidance, AMI provides aspiring quantum talent with the tools, strategies, and connections they need to thrive in this emerging field. Thank you for being with us, Amir, today.
Thank you for having me.
So, since I did introductions, then you don't have to introduce yourself, but I have a list of questions, and we're gonna get into that. Let me start with the first one. So maybe we're gonna keep that order. We're gonna be starting with John, Charlie, Amir. That's how it is on my screen, and then. So the first question would be, what are the biggest challenges in sourcing qualified candidates in quantum and quantum AI today?
Yeah, so sorry, was that for me first or?
Yeah, the first question we're gonna start the way I introduce you to you all.
That's fine. Yes, I think a lot of it really depends on your starting point. So obviously within the audience, we've got people from quantum vendors, we've got people from classic companies that are using quantum technologies, and people that are at different stages of their quantum journey. So your starting point really affects this. So I think when you look at it, people often think of sourcing as just finding the candidates, which that's part of it. If you've got a sort of a very strong network in the sector, that will take you so far, particularly from the startup perspective. But actually, you've also got to look at the attraction piece. It's a competitive market out there. So what differentiates your organization from another? Identifying the right types of people as well is a key thing. And you also look at, is your background academic or more commercial? So how do you adjust your biases or potential biases around that? So it's quite a mixed, there's quite a lot of nuances to that. But I think probably if I had to pick the biggest challenge, it would be around attraction. So, what if good candidates got 5-10 companies, all very interested in their services, why are they going to pick you over another organization? For most organizations, big tech or banking is going to pay more unless you're in that sector. If you're in big tech and banking, you may lose out on things like culture. You may lose out on things like mission and vision. So it's working out what makes you different to the others that you're competing with. And why that would resonate with the right candidates for you. If you try to be all things to all people, you save problems for future. So I think it's getting that message of what makes you the right match for the right person at the right place at the right time. And I think with that, a big part of that is finding out about the person as an individual. We work in a sector where things are very much data driven. Everyone likes data. It makes their mind up for them. That's easy. Well, data's kind of the start point. You need the evaluation and things like that. So, but if you're speaking with someone you want to hire, get to know them as a person, get to know what drives them, what their aspirations are. Skills can be taught, but attributes and aspirations are far more personal. And if it's not the right person, it may not be that they're not the right person, but you know quickly. But actually, if it is the right person and you take the right steps to build that foundation, you not only work on the attraction piece, but actually you work on retention and all the other good stuff that comes with having satisfied, happy, healthy, motivated employers. So there's no magic wand in that.
No. So from what you say, I would say that it's not such an easy task to even navigate those things that you said. Charlie, would you add how would you navigate getting to know so many people at that level, right? To recommend them.
So
I'm curious. I will move now to Charlie, that he maybe will. Sorry, John.
Yeah, no, please, please.
I will try to put some dynamic to our exchanges.
Yeah, and that's a great question, how you nuance that further piece about how you get to know these people. But Just to add a tiny step back to expand on John's point is absolutely, if you look at where recruitment is versus where it was when I started. When you started, people would work with me because of my network. Yes, there were internet tools, but they weren't as prevalent. My network really was the people that I met with and got to know through the specialism that I essentially mastered. Now it's completely different. Data is everywhere. So to John's point, finding the candidates is easy. LinkedIn pretty much is as close of an active directory of the workforce as you can get. So now we have that. That means getting access to those people is easy. So as John's point is now everyone is getting messaged all the time. So not only is it, why should they choose your company over the many they get? It's even more one step back from that. Why should they even look at your email in the first place? We've got a war for attention. So for me, that piece really comes down to making sure that you have the appropriate employee branding value proposition in place. But just going a step further to your piece, Anna, in regards to how you do that, that's a challenge right now. To me, historically, when I've set up new recruitment desks, my goal has been to not really worry about the clients, but has been to shore up the candidate base. So get to know people, meet them, understand what they're looking for. What are the progressions within that industry? Start to build a network so that when clients come to you, you don't want to be in a position where they say, right, we need someone tomorrow, and you're scratching your head going, sorry, what is that? Where are those people? You want to be able to go, great, I've got a bit of a network I can navigate through. The challenge, I suppose, that's nuanced to quantum at the moment is that it has a very fragmented market. We're looking sometimes at cryogenics, photonics, deep hardware, software. So kind of how do you build that network in advance? Because you build it in an area that isn't necessarily in demand right now, you kind of wasted your time a bit. So I suppose where that data's come in. So for me personally, there's no real right answer. You've got to be looking at the data. You've got to be fluid. But ultimately, you've got to know your message and know how to position something that elicits the response you want.
Yeah, thank you. But I think it's a very interesting point you're raising, that because of the access to people, right, LinkedIn and so on, we need to have a new form of reaching out. I mean, the companies themselves. Do you find, so I will move on now to Amir, do you find yourself also communicating with the companies differently because of that? Because now you have to maybe help them how they could advertise themselves sometimes. Do you see that evolving because of this huge impact of LinkedIn and other social media? I think generally that people exchange that information in a totally, abundant way almost.
100%. And I think that our job, and we're all very tenured recruiters with 20 years apiece here. And the reason we're saying it, that our job is to be there when you need us. Use LinkedIn, use whatever tool that you want. That's not a problem with us. But our job is to deep dive. And now with LinkedIn, you've got the easy apply. People will apply for hundreds of positions, but what we do, I mean, is to really focus our searches on what's needed. So we keep in touch with companies constantly. And it's going back to what Charlie's saying and John. So John's talking about differentiation, marketing, branding, make sure you're right. Charlie's saying similar, and basically preempting what people are looking for. So what we do now is, okay, right, let's keep us in part of your journey. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us where you're going. So then we know, between the three of us, in 6 months' time, ABC is going to be needing that. So we can start finding these people. We don't want to go there the day before and go, oh, by the way, we've got this role. There's no value in that. We need to find the people that will align to the business model, the value, the mission statement, all of those factors, how the company operates, hybrid, remote, on-site, etc. So we will build up a book of people for when those roles come along. And that's where we really add value.
Yeah.
If I can just add to that as well, that's a really good point. And I think adding on to that is the kind of the recruiter client relationship. It should be a strong relationship, because as a recruiter, we're going out to market on behalf of an organization. So if we get a client that says, oh, I've got these jobs, go and find them for me, great, but you're probably going to the bottom of the pile, because if you're not going to spend the time with us to let us know what makes you tick, what makes you special, not only does that make our job more difficult, we can't represent you as well. So we need to be, part of our role is we're a gatekeeper for your reputation in the market, or a good recruiter is. Not all recruiters are born the same. But
yeah,
so,
but
so
you all three good recruiters. I mean,
exactly,
we've
yeah,
been
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it for so many years, right? I mean,
Exactly. But it's really important we take the right message to market. And, you know, from speaking with Charlie and Amir, you know, I think they've got a very similar, you know, mantra on these sorts of things, this sort of ethical recruitment. And a lot, you know, recruitment has a bad reputation in most industries for good reason. But Quantum doesn't have to have that, because we build, like everything else, we've been building this from the ground up. So it doesn't have to have all the bad habits imported into it, albeit they will come. But if we build it, if we do it responsibly, we can sort of filter all of that out and put an ethical message to the market of what a good recruiter and a bad recruiter will do, and have differentiate that.
Yeah. And
So,
we're extensions to your recruitment. We're extensions to your HR. We're the heavy lifters. But what we need, and whoever we use, three of us or whoever else, it's the communication piece. You know, we will come at you with very specific questions. If it's an account executive role, if it's a machine learning role, there are certain things we need to know. It's not because we're being a pain. This is how we best represent. So what you realize is when we go out to market, we're talking to hundreds of people, maybe 5 people, maybe, but we need answers to these questions. We don't want to be coming to and froing, and that's how we then really represent the brand.
yeah. So that you make a perfect bridge to more technical question that is coming, Amir, because it was exactly on those technical skills. I mean, it's an emerging field. I mean, a lot of people would be coming, what Charlie, you mentioned, like suddenly you have people that maybe want to have a background in electronics, photonics, or specific background in some industry like finance. And how will you assess what will be a good background? Because you can't only wait for people to graduate from a quantum computing master degree or PhD. You know, the industry is moving. You need to bring more people. We know we have a crisis, right? But how to assess their technical readiness. So I will now start other way around, and I will let Amir to continue, and then go to Charlie. And so,
yeah, so that's an interesting question, and it's something that has been in tech recruitment throughout. We're not technical people. That's not our job. What we are is we're able to sift. So we will go through the standard academics, experience, etc. But we need partnership with companies. So we'll say, okay, you know, where do you see a transferable background? How can you upskill? What looking at your team structure would add to that? You know, so then we need alternatives, you know, to then go and find those people. In addition to that, as the value added, we can do technical testing. You know, we'll work in conjunction with yourself, and this is what I've done previously. So, okay, right, to sort people out, if you can give us a certain remit that we can ask to sort the wheat from the chaff, we can go do that. So when we're presenting you with 5 people, they've already ticked off quite a lot of the boxes. But from a very technical, if you want to go into quantum hardware, that's not our speciality. Ours is to find the people, screen them, and then put them in front, or at least has been for me.
okay. Charlie, how would you maybe add and expand on it, or give some maybe examples that took you by surprise in this field, and maybe you exactly put someone in front of the people that you work for, and then you were like, why didn't they take that person? Or maybe why did they took that person? Because of that technical background? Was there anything that's happened?
I see you're saving the harder part for me there, the kind of nuanced real world scenario. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And Amir's hit the nail on the head there, is we aren't technical. So for me personally, it's very early on with a client to establish what matters most to them and how they are going to quantify that. You know, when I first started in recruitment in IT, we were doing brain bench tests, but very quickly we realized that the closer you are to graduating, the higher you scored, because you remember all the theoretical questions, whereas the 20-year coder, you know, has got a mechanism to find the answer as opposed to remembering it. So I suppose it's, you know, how long is a piece of string, I suppose. But
watch the full 1 hour 45-minute presentation online at Quantum Security Defense. Just search quantum security defense to find out more.